More than 1 million voters in Nebraska and West Virginia heading to the polls this morning as Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton launch new attacks on each other. ABC's Tom Yalvis is at Trump headquarters here in New York. Good morning, Tom.
Rob, and Donald Trump waking up to some good news this morning. Polls out of 3 key battleground states, Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, show this race is neck and neck between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump as their general election fight is now underway.
This morning, the personal war of words between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton intensifying.
I'm running my campaign. I'm not running against him. He's doing a fine job of doing that himself.
The former Secretary of State forced to respond after Trump let loose with allegations, including those against her husband, like this.
Some of those women were destroyed not by him, but by the way that Hillary Clinton treated them after everything went down. So just remember that, folks.
Democrats convinced charges like that will hurt Trump with female voters.
I have been very clear that a lot of his rhetoric is not only reckless, it's dangerous.
As Clinton and Trump battle, the New York billionaire looking to mend fences in Washington during meetings later this week. House Speaker Paul Ryan now saying he's fine with not chairing the Republican National Convention if that's what Trump wants.
He's the nominee. I'll do whatever he wants with respect to the convention.
The Trump-Ryan drama coming after the House Speaker said he wasn't ready to endorse the presumptive nominee.
I never said never. I just said at this point, I wish I had more time to get to know him before this happened. I didn't, but we just didn't.
Now, as Trump builds his infrastructure to start raising funds for the general election campaign, Hillary Clinton is already raising money in key battleground states with her Battleground Fund, definitely trying to get as much money as she can to take on Trump.
But
George?
She's still fighting Bernie Sanders out in the primaries. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's talk about this now with our political analyst, Matthew Dowd, and Republican pollster and strategist Kellyanne Conway. And Matthew, let me begin with you. You got this summit coming up on Thursday between Paul Ryan, the Senate leadership, and Donald Trump. Will this be decisive?
Well, I think it's an important moment in the campaign. Here's the situation, George. Donald Trump has had a hostile takeover of the Republican Party, and the incumbent establishment executives of that company have to decide, 1, do they go along with the new ownership, or 2, do they walk? And I think that's what this meeting is about. Is Paul Ryan going to be part of the new takeover that Donald Trump has of the Republican Party?
Good way of putting it. And Kellyanne, Donald Trump goes into this meeting now with these new polls. That's some strength in his pocket.
He does, especially in these swing states, George, which is really what matters. These national polls are meaningless when you look at these swing states. It's a more competitive race, and I think that's because Donald Trump's been consistently underestimated for a year, and Hillary Clinton has been overestimated probably for 8 years. And I think he'll take the case right to her. He's got to beat her on the issues, though. He basically has to say, you know, Mrs. Clinton, you've been in public life for 30 years, so why haven't you taken the opportunity to improve women's lives? Why talk about it now?
And if he can show these leaders that he's electable with these competitive polls, do you think that makes them come around more quickly?
Yes, and some already are. Overnight, Kevin McCarthy, the #2 in the House leadership, said he will be a delegate in California on behalf of Mr. Trump. That's real news, along with 3 or 4 other congressmen from California. You see the donor community starting to come around to their fellow billionaire. They want to help as well. There's also a generational split here. You see some of the grand wizards, if you will, the grand poobahs of the party coming over and saying, I support Donald Trump now, Newt Gingrich, Bill Bennett, Dick Cheney certainly. But look, you can't dismiss the 10 million plus voters that supported this man in the primaries. You can't leave them behind.
You cannot leave them behind. Meantime, Matt Dowd, those polls, even though this is quite early, have to be bracing for the Democrats.
I think they're very bracing for the Democrats. I mean, did Miami Heat story. We have a jump ball today, George, in the course of this race. I think what the voters are going to be faced with is you have 2 candidates that are very disliked in this course of this. It's a little bit like being hungry, walking up to the refrigerator, looking in the refrigerator and thinking, I don't want anything in that refrigerator, but I'm hungry. And I think that's going to create tremendous volatility in this race from now until Election Day.
And we managed to get from basketball to the refrigerator in one answer. Matthew Dowd, thanks very much. Kellyanne Conway. Let's go back to Robin.
That's our Matt. Okay. Thank you, George. Now to that terrifying moment in the air. Severe turbulence shaking a JetBlue flight full of passengers. A refrigerator doors spilling open. Oxygen masks coming down. At least 8 people injured. ABC's David Curley is at Reagan National with the latest. Good morning, David.
Morning, Robin. There have been a spate of these incidents over the past week. This one on a flight to Orlando last night. A mess inside the cabin after severe turbulence rocked the JetBlue flight overnight. At least 8 passengers hurt as the plane traveling from Puerto Rico to Orlando experienced rough air.
1134 crossing the 18 left Yankee, then grab 20.
One passenger tweeting, "Just flew flight 1134. My neck and back hurt really bad." The turbulence started during the drinks service. Veronica Torres on the plane with her daughter took this photo as oxygen masks deployed. The doors of the refrigerators reportedly exploded open, leaving food and beverages scattered all over the aisles. Passengers say they were holding on for dear life. The crew called for a doctor once the turbulence calmed. Emergency crews, including firefighters, paramedics, and police, rushed on board when the plane landed. It was just last week that another flight from that area also hit turbulence. And then there was this frightful scene from a jet landing in Jakarta. Now, the 8 passengers who were injured last night were taken to a hospital in Orlando. George, we have no word on how serious their injuries are.
We will keep an eye on it, David. Thanks very much. We're going to move on now to that backlash brewing against Facebook. The social media site accused of keeping conservative news stories off its trending list. Facebook's responding this morning, and ABC's Rebecca Jarvis is here with the latest. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning to you, George. And this is that list of trending topics that you see on the right side of your news feed when you log in. It determines what a lot of Facebook users ultimately read on the social platform. A former Facebook employee now speaking out anonymously to tech blog Gizmodo, claiming that Facebook workers intentionally suppressed conservative news stories from that list, keeping articles about topics and people like Mitt Romney and Glenn Beck from the list. The former Facebook insider calling it, quote, absolutely biased, saying we were doing it subjectively, George.
Doing it subjectively, but Facebook absolutely denies that. The Facebook executives?
Facebook executives this morning have come out. They have absolutely denied it, George, but there's another element to this story because several former workers also say that they were explicitly instructed by managers to push certain stories into the trending topics section. For example, stories about Black Lives Matter, even if they weren't trending on Facebook. But again, this morning, Facebook is responding to the anonymous allegations, saying, quote, they have found no evidence that they are true and that we do not insert stories artificially into trending topics and do not instruct our reviewers to do so, George.
I guess as though we have not heard the last of this. Rebecca, thanks very much.
Probably not, George. Now to the legal showdown in North Carolina over transgender rights and the use of public restrooms. The state now going head-to-head with the U.S. Justice Department as they sue each other over the so-called bathroom bill. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Raleigh, North Carolina with the latest. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Robin. State legislators here who pushed for this controversial new law are telling the federal government this morning that they're holding firm. This morning, the culture war over gay rights and public accommodations for transgender Americans is heading to federal court. In her lawsuit against the state of North Carolina, the U.S. Attorney General says that HB 2, the state's controversial law, is state-sanctioned sex discrimination. She compares it to North Carolina's racist past, saying it removes protections for gay families and keeps transgender residents from legally using the bathrooms they need.
This action is about a great deal more than bathrooms. This is about the dignity and the respect that we accord our fellow citizens.
In a lawsuit of his own, North Carolina's governor is calling this a baseless and blatant overreach and argues that transgender residents are, quote, not a protected class under the law.
The Obama administration is bypassing Congress by attempting to rewrite the law and set basic restroom policies, locker room policies, and even shower policies.
The federal government is still threatening to hold back federal funding for state police and the University of North Carolina, arguing that if both obey the new state law, they're in violation of federal law. In a statement, the president of the school says the university is truly caught in the middle. At the same time, the list of businesses leaving the state in protest keeps growing, along with the list of entertainers canceling concerts, from Pearl Jam to Nick Jonas and Demi Lovato. On the other side, families are taking their fight to stores that have agreed to accommodate transgender residents, posting these videos online.
Target, this is your warning. You will be judged according to God's standards.
The governor maintains that this state does not discriminate, and something that we're learning from ABC 11, our local and owned station here in Raleigh. The governor's campaign is using the issue to raise money online to, quote, fight back against the federal government's overreach and bullying tactics. From your smartphone even, you can make monthly contributions.
Robin.
This story, one of those far from being over. All right there, Steve, thank you. We're going to go to Amy now with the morning's other top stories, starting with growing tensions overseas.
That's right, Robin. And this is breaking this morning. A U.S. naval maneuver in the disputed South China Sea has angered Beijing, and the U.S. destroyer sailed past one of the artificial islands that China has built up and placed an airstrip. The Pentagon calling this move routine. China and the U.S. have accused one another of militarizing the South China Sea. Well, the cost of that devastating wildfire is now on track to hit $7 billion. New images from the fire-ravaged city of Fort McMurray show entire neighborhoods leveled by those flames. Officials now say about 85% of homes and other buildings have survived. Well, some restrictions on water use in California could soon be lifted. A rainy, snowy winter has eased the state's 5-year drought, but some of the limits, like excessive water use while washing cars and watering lawns, could be made permanent. Well, some are calling it the best overtime period in NBA history. After 2 weeks nursing a knee injury, Steph Curry came off the bench to score 40 points for the Warriors. They beat the Trailblazers 132-25. And then Portland owner Paul Allen's reaction to all those Curry three-pointers. Yeah, he is stunned, mouth open and all. And almost as stunned was Miami's Dwayne Wade in the other playoff game when his layup came to just rest behind the basket. Even without that incredible shot, Wade still scored 30 points, and the Heat beat the Raptors 94-87. And finally, Lara, we all know it pays to break for yard sales.
Thank you.
Every now and then, you hit a speed bump.
Uh-oh.
Take a look at this sculpture, recently appraised on the PBS show Antique Roadshow. One of its experts saw great value in this vase, saying it was from the late 19th century and could be worth as much as $50,000. But someone recognized it as their high school art project from the 1970s. Oops.
Priceless to someone's mom. I just like to say.
Not quite the same. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Let's go back to Rob right now. You've got some serious hail damage.
Yeah, we talked about the tornadoes, 21 across 5 states reported. But look at Lincoln, Nebraska. Hail the size of softballs plus 5 inches of rain, and this truck almost up to the wheel wells there with hail. Tuesday Trivia now brought to you by Walgreens.